This is Emily,
Henley,
and Sammy, and you're listening to Too Scary Didn't Watch.
Hi everyone. Welcome to Too Scary Didn't Watch, the horror movie recap podcast for those too scared to watch for themselves. I'm Emily, and I am too scared to watch scary movies.
I'm Henley, and I'm also too scared to watch scary movies.
And Sammy's not here this week.
That gaping silence.
Gaping hole in our lives and day today.
She's at a wedding. We wish her the best.
We wish her and the couple the best.
Oh yeah, right. The couple too.
All the best to them, and still she'll be back. She just sometimes you got to take a little time to celebrate, and we are happy for her to do that, and happy for the couple, as said before. But Henley, it's just us. How are
us. You? I'm
Did
good.
anything scary happen to you this week, Henley?
So here's the thing. This concept about did anything scary happen to me?
Oh, we're breaking it down to the concept.
Means that I cannot do what I would love to do, which is to give a recommendation. And
give a recommendation.
It's what I always want to do. But now that we're saying like something scary, I guess the scary thing is how much I loved this show. You know what I mean? I always have to do something corny like that. But
no, I like it. Or you could say, it's scary to me that anybody might not know about this show. And so I'm going to tell you.
We probably should have workshopped this offline, and then I could have fed it in organically.
It's nice
but you
to
know
let
what?
people into the process sometimes.
Yep. Front row seat to the process. Okay. So what I want to shout out is the fact that one of our guests, Oscar Montoya.
Oh, yes.
Is in a show that I watched last night, 2 episodes on HBO Max called Minx. So Oscar did Attack of the Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
God damn it. I did that last time too.
You did it last time. However it lives in your brain is fine, but that is wrong. It's Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I like that I just keep doing it.
Outer Space is like a huge part of the whole deal, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really important. Anyway, so I remember when he was on, we'd kind of like talked about it briefly. And then I saw on his social media that he was going to be in an upcoming HBO show. And then last night, my husband, Tim, was recommending that we watch the show Minx. And I was like, sure, whatever. I don't know what that is. And I was watching it and I was like, holy shit, I know who that is. That's Oscar. And it's so good. My expectations were really exceeded. Like it exceeded my expectations completely. Because I didn't know about it at all. And to be like, I feel like I wasn't sure about the whole, like going into watching a show about the porn industry. That's all I knew. And then I was like, oh no, this completely surprised me. I thought the writing was excellent. The acting was excellent. It was like so beautifully in the world. So funny. And I just loved it. And I can't wait to watch the rest of the season. And I can't believe that Oscar's in it. And so I was so happy to see him. He's a
star. He's an absolute star. He really is. I haven't seen Minx yet. I'm very excited to. I'm very behind on watching. You know that I have a really hard time watching things and starting anything new. It is on my list. I'm sure that Oscar's amazing at it because he is such a talent.
The wardrobe is outstanding. The wardrobe is so fun.
I'm very interested in this world. I started watching, Joel and I started watching Pam and Tommy the other night, finally. Which I feel like I'm a little bit conflicted about watching because didn't Pam Anderson not want it to be made? And so that I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Because here's the deal, and I don't know why she didn't want it to be. I don't know how she feels about it now that it was. It's crazy to me that you can make a show about somebody's life if they're alive and being like, please don't. But it's like, sorry, I don't care if it's your life. It doesn't matter. We're going to make the show. Which is like, how is that? It's strange to me. But I also watched it, and I've only watched the pilot. But it made me very interested in the porn industry, and it made me, and this might be the reason why she didn't want it to be made, because it did make me think like, I want to watch that sex tape.
Oh, it made me feel that way too.
Which
I totally want to watch the sex tape.
I want to watch it. But I think my feeling is, in general, I cannot, no matter how much I want to, I will not let myself ever watch a sex tape or nudes or anything that was like released without that person's consent. That stuff feels very bad. No matter how, I mean, it's like I could be the only person left in the world who hasn't watched the Pam Anderson sex tape, and I really want to, but I won't if that's not what she wants. Joel said that maybe they re-released, like she re-released one with her own, because I don't know. I'm going to look into it.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, I find the porn, I think that's such an interesting world to like set a show in. And and it's like in the 70s too, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going to talk about the 70s today, baby. We're going to talk about it. I got a lot of thoughts about the 70s, and it is applicable to our film today. But before we do that,
did anything scary happen to you this week?
Thank you, Henley. I was thinking about how to ask it of myself. Thank you so much. No, not really, but except
what if that was all you said? You're just like, no,
really. Thanks for asking.
Pass.
No, sometimes it's just nice to be asked. My internal clock is really messed up this week because of daylight savings time, and just I don't know. It just is. And we're gonna stop. I have a couple questions about daylight savings time. We're gonna stop doing it in 2023, right? That passed. That's happening. But where does it stay if we do that?
I thought it was permanently this one.
It's permanently, because permanently the other one would be sad, right? We're not going to do that.
Well, I've heard conflicting reports about this because actually it's probably better for us to do the other one. And I like the really clear scientific way we're explaining this.
Hey, and if you're listening to this at a time that's not currently, March 2022, figure it out. Which one's this one? Which one's that one?
So this one is daylight savings time has started. This is in action. And the other option is for it to not be in action. And so for us to not be gaining that extra hour of light towards the end of the day. And what I read was that teenagers are the ones that suffer from this the most, is because
because it's dark when they're going to school.
Yeah, they have to get up super early already, and that's like really fucking with them, and they're like not dangerous. Wanting to.
So why don't we just make them not go to school so early?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that
seems
feels
so
like a
obvious.
More reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, but no one wants to do anything reasonable these days. You know what I mean? No one's like,
are we getting political?
No.
Remember when we used to talk about politics a lot on the podcast, and a lot of people did not like it.
No, they did not like it. But
they were not happy about it.
They were not happy. They were like, 1 star. These ladies think they know about politics.
We got some reviews. I don't listen to podcasts where people talk about current events. Sorry.
But here's the deal. I haven't fucking looked at the news in like a year and a half. So serves me right. Truly, since Trump has been out of office, like someone reminded me of Trump the other day, and I was like, well, I blacked that out. I don't remember anything.
Huge span of our lives.
I'm not supporting that, but I do have to say I stopped looking at the news. Yeah. Okay, wait. Were you going to say something else that's scary that happened to you?
I was going to say something else, which is that my internal clock has been messed up. I've woken up really early, which is not what daylight savings is supposed to do, but I have to wake up really early for work on Thursdays and Fridays. And so I think because of the consecutive days, then like Saturday and Sunday, which should be the days I sleep in, I woke up really early for me, which is like 7:15. That's early. I woke up at 7:15 on a Saturday and a Sunday, but like was up, like there was no going back to sleep. It just wasn't happening. And I guess what's scary is how much you can accomplish if you wake up at 7:15 and have a whole day. I can't believe the amount of things I accomplished this weekend. Yesterday, woke up at 7:15. We like went out to breakfast, went to the flea market, cleaned our entire apartment, fully, like deep clean. Like Joel was like taking all the things off the stove and like scrubbing all the stuff. We were completely done by 3:30. And I was like, what is happening? And then you add in the extra hour of light, and it was like, we have a whole other day left and we've done all this shit. Today, I rewatched the entire movie for today and took notes and tailored a pair of pants. It's 12 o'clock. Like what? I'll never do it on purpose because waking up, I would love to sleep in, but like, wow.
Here's the thing. Before I had a kid, if I woke up early, which I did a lot, I would have a full like existential crisis with not knowing how to fill my time. Like, it's like, oh my God, I am up at 6 a.m. Like, what do I fucking do with myself? This is terrible. Put me back to sleep. I want to be sleeping. I don't want to be active in the world. That sounds terrible. Now I have a kid and I don't have that problem because he's awake
or
all the time.
Choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel you. I understand completely.
It's just really astounding.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people wake up early and exercise. Like that's what I think a lot of people do that early in the morning.
My husband Tim's brother, Will, shout out to Will. He wakes up at 5 a.m. every day.
Yeah, he told me that. That's horrifying.
5 a.m. 5 a.m. though.
That's not good.
How?
That's not good.
It's too much.
It's too much. That's like a sickness.
I agree. I really agree.
Because that's just, you should want to be asleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. He's just exercising. He's working. He's getting a lot done.
Well, good for Will. Okay.
Let's get into this movie.
Okay, so Sammy's not here this week. So I had to watch the movie and I was nervous. I was nervous about it. But guess what? I did it. And I also think anybody could. And maybe anybody should. And this week's movie is Carrie, the original. Is there a remake? There was a remake, right? Okay, so it's the original Carrie. It came out in 1976, so we're going to talk about the 70s. As I mentioned, it's written by Lawrence D. Cohen, based on the novel by Stephen King. It was directed by Brian De Palma, who we're also going to talk about. Starring Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, Amy Irving, William Catt, John Travolta, Nancy Allen, Betty Buckley. And it's available to stream, rent. You have to pay for it on Amazon Prime. But when I went to rent it this week, they said coming to Prime in 13 days. So by the time this episode comes out, it'll be like coming to Prime in like 9 days. So if you really want to wait and not rent that $3.99, you can watch it on Prime in about 9 days. And I'm very, very excited. We have a guest here to talk about this movie with us. I'm so thrilled to have the wonderful Mary Holland.
Woohoo!
Hi, Mary.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
The pleasure is ours, Mary.
The pleasure is mine, and it's exclusively mine.
Okay, that's pretty rude. Mary, how are you? Did anything scary happen to you this week?
Did anything scary happen to me this week? Well, yes, actually. Last night, we have just moved into a new place. We've been here just a few months, and we were asleep. It was 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm. A good time to be asleep.
Terrifying
Exactly.
hour.
And I thought to myself, I'm going to be asleep during this time.
Mm-hmm.
But then I wasn't. Then I woke up and I heard a tap, tap, tap coming from outside the window.
No.
Behind our bed.
No. This is such a classically scary thing.
It was really scary. And I went to our bathroom.
Alone?
And I thought,
did you wake up mad?
Oh, no. I went alone. And I thought to myself, listen, 2 birds, 1 stone. I peed. And then I also opened the window because it faces the same, like, there's like a little, it's not an alley, but it's like a
courtyard,
a side yard area next to, like, right behind where our bedroom window is, and then the window in the bathroom faces that same area. So I was like, this is what I'll do. I'm gonna have a pee. I'm gonna peek my head outside. I'm gonna see what I can see. Nothing there, and it was super quiet. And then I got back in bed, and then I heard the tap, tap, tap again.
No.
Oh, no. And then Matt did wake up, and he used the bathroom, and he got back in bed, and I was like, I've been hearing this. Do you hear this? Tap, tap, tap. And he was like, oh, yeah, I hear that a lot. And I was like,
what a response.
Okay, well, should we check on it or just leave it, I guess? I don't know. It sounds like the water heater is also right there. So it sounds like some sort of mechanical thing. Or it doesn't, or at worst case, it's a gopher.
Worst case, it's a gopher. I really thought that you were going to say ghost, and then you said gopher.
It's a gopher.
Worst case, it's a gopher.
You know,
that's not a terrible worst case scenario.
No, I think we're okay.
It's pretty reassuring to get that very casual response to someone who's like, oh yeah, no, I hear it all the time. And you're like,
absolutely. Oh, okay. I guess I shouldn't be.
I guess I shouldn't be scared. Wait, Mary.
Yeah.
How do you feel about scary movies?
Oh my gosh, great question. I have a real push-pull relationship with them. Ooh. Here's the thing. I'm so scared to see them. Mm-hmm. And then after I see them, I become really obsessed with them. And I read all these articles about them. I read analyses about the horror movies. The thing about me is I love a world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And a horror movie really, the really great ones do that so well, where you're immersed in an atmosphere and in a vibe and in a world. And I love that so much. I'm not really drawn to Saw Part 1 through 50.
Yeah. Torture porny stuff.
I don't really I don't like that. That doesn't do it for me. But I do love the unsettling. I love psychological horror movies. I love all of Ari Aster's stuff. I think that they're so good. You know, even though I don't get horny for horny. I'm sorry to bring this up so early, but I just want to tell you guys what makes me horny or not.
Tell us.
Okay. But I don't enjoy just I guess
gore.
I said this gross out stuff. Yeah. But I will sit through it, and I do like it if it is serving a larger theme.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. I completely know what you mean, because I think that I feel the exact same way, except I'm unwilling to watch the movie. I want to know everything about the movie.
Right. Yes. And so this is a great idea, because then you can.
Exactly.
It's what it is.
I want to know all the deets. I want to know absolutely everything, but I do not want to have to visually witness any of the actual harm coming to anyone's bodies.
Yeah. I know. You know what? My roommate in college and I used to do a thing where we would tell each other. I remember she once told me the plot of Kill Bill because I was too scared to see it. And I love that. There's something really fun about just being told a great story, and you can just imagine it and not have to see it.
Yeah, it's great. Actually, I'm pretty sure someone told me the plot of Kill Bill as well. But you've come a long way if you're too scared to see Kill Bill and are watching horror movies left and right.
Ari Aster tier horror movies too, which are very much.
Yes, those are varsity level.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, my husband Matt is very much into them, and so I think it's also sort of okay, I'm here. I guess
you'll be brought along for the ride.
Yes.
Yeah. What is the scariest movie you've ever seen? For you?
Well, my scariest movie experience, my scariest scary movie experience was when I was 6 years old.
Oh no!
I know.
It usually
all stories.
I held myself up because I was about to say, was there one that you saw as a child? And I was like, I bet it's going to be that anyway. And so, yep, let's go.
So let's go. Buckle up. I don't remember. I remember nothing about the context surrounding this, but I remember seeing on the screen a little boy in a yellow raincoat. And he was it was raining and it was chasing a boat.
Yep.
Going down the side of the road. And I was like, hey, I'm a little kid. I relate
this is
to
probably
this.
for me.
Yeah. So I started watching it and I was like, wow, there's a clown in the storm drain. And then we all know what happens.
Yeah. Is it the same in the original? Is the remake?
It is pretty much the same. I mean, it's
an arm. I'm
trying to remember. Yeah, well, in the remake, it goes all like there's nothing left to the imagination, and in the original, he just like opens his mouth, and you like get this like it's like so you don't really see anything happen, but you can put 2 and 2 together. Even as a 6-year-old, I was like
probably even worse as a 6-year-old.
Exactly, and it really effed me up. But it started a very early obsession from a young age with Stephen King. And I sought out, oh my gosh, I remember my friends and I would like, oh gosh, whoa, I haven't thought about this in a long time. I got really obsessed with it growing up. So that scared me so bad. Like I found out it was from this movie, It, and it was like this whole thing. And I became, I was like 12 or something, and my friends and I would, try to get Stephen King books out of the public library. But I grew up in a really small town in Virginia, and I remember we tried to check The Shining out of the library, and the center part of the book, like you could get a few chapters in, but then the middle chunk of the book was stapled together.
Stop it.
Yeah, because it was too much adult stuff, too much like scary stuff, too much sexy stuff. Yeah,
so I don't know if they censored a whole chunk of the book in the library. Did.
So you can see if you read the beginning, you read the end.
So the end where he like chases his family with an axe, you can read that part.
Yeah, you could. They were like, that's fine, because they don't know like what led to that. You know what I mean? That's a real horror. Yes, I thought that was so, and I also don't know if they did that because they're like these 12-year-old girls just want to read about, because there's a lot of like sex stuff in that book. But anyway, I got really obsessed with Stephen King and I just consumed his books, and Carrie being one of them. And yeah, he is a horror author that I think does the thing that I really like, which is he really makes a vibe, and his ideas are so strange and scary and like kind of otherworldly sometimes, and it's just it's cool.
Well, Mary, we on this podcast historically have beef with Stephen King.
Oh, historically, and to be completely honest, it's been a long time since we've talked about him. And I was trying to recall why. Henley, do you remember why? Because his book, you read a book that was boring? How dare.
Is that what it is? Is that why we don't like him?
Okay, I think it was 2 things. One, it was just funny, the idea of us having like no one at the very beginning of this podcast, the only people who are listening are our parents, and for us to try to start beef with Stephen King, you know what I mean, was just like a funny idea.
Yes, that is very funny.
And then the only backup was that one time I tried to read Under the Dome, and it was too long, and it got me. And it made me.
Yeah, I haven't read that. Yeah.
It made me mad, and that was the only other reason I can think of.
I can't. There was a reason, but yeah, I was truly like, Stephen, like, I was like, Carrie, Stephen King, that guy. And then I was like, what? What? I don't remember.
Maybe also because he was like a stand-in for like male-dominated horror. You know what I mean?
I think it was sort of that. I think it was sort of that. I think I was mad about some of the stuff that happens in It.
I mean,
yeah. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't age well.
Yeah.
Or shouldn't have been in there in the first place.
Okay, also we watched all of Eli Roth's History of Horror. Shudder presents Eli Roth's History of Horror.
I love that.
It's a very cool series.
It's a very cool series. And Eli Roth and Stephen King interviewed each other. And I think we were also kind of put off by that because they were both like...
Yeah, the vibe was just like... I think it's just sort of like, hey guys, get over yourself. Which, Stephen King is like... a really big deal. But get over yourself.
It's funny for us to take that stance. Do you know what I mean?
And you should.
Thank you. We're just trying to be funny. We're just trying to be funny. Although I do now that we were talking about people who gave us bad reviews. Why are we talking about this? But I do remember we got a bad review once who was like, they don't even like Stephen King. How do you do a horror podcast? You don't like Stephen King.
Everybody. But he's not for everybody. And also you're doing a horror podcast, but you are non-horror fans.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
exactly.
Mary.
And you're being exactly. So what the heck?
What the heck?
So my big question is, what the heck? It's sort of my big question.
It's my big thing.
Wow. Okay. Mary,
Yeah.
speaking of Stephen King, speaking of this movie,
Yeah.
so do you have any particular attachment to Carrie aside from it being Stephen King? Like, I want to know.
I do. Again, this was when I was 12 and I was really, I was really reaching for something. I don't know what it was, but I wanted to I felt incredibly powerless in my life, as I'm sure a lot of us did at that age.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, I remember I dated a guy, it's just so ridiculous. we saw each other at school. That's how we dated.
Uh-huh.
And we broke up, and he was like the funniest guy in the class or whatever, and he would make fun of me a lot. And it really did a number on me. But I remember reading Carrie or I think I read it, but I was like, oh, if I had telekinesis. And one time I remember trying to do it. It was like early days of the internet. And I looked up on GeoCities website about how to
move things
do
with your
telekinesis. Yes. And it was take a toilet paper roll or the what is that? The
cardboard.
Tube?
Yes, the tube. Take the tube and put something on a surface, and then take the tube and look at the thing through the tube, and then just focus all your mental energy on moving that thing.
What role does the tube play in this?
It sort of serves to
narrow your field of vision.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you can just see that thing.
Okay.
And also it's fun to you can make something out of it after.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. So I did. I mean, it must have been so ridiculous. Just this preteen girl in bed just staring at a paper clip, trying so hard to move it. But I really thought I was and I think that's what Stephen King tapped into here, which is the powerlessness of being a teen girl. And what if you had this incredible power? I mean, that's what all those superhero movies do too. But it's I loved it. So it really spoke to me as a preteen.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting. Henley, have you ever seen Carrie or read it?
No, I have not. However, I did see, I believe, a couple of scenes on the television when I was younger. And all I remember is she has a scary, mean mom. And I think that unlocked something for me about horror in general, which is that it's not just ghosts, it's not just supernatural stuff, it's also just human relationships.
I love that. Sometimes that's the scariest stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because he's so inescapable. Especially, she's a kid living with her very bad, wild mom, and there's nothing she can do about it.
We will get into that.
We will get into it.
We're going to get
into it.
But I don't know anything else, so I'm really excited to hear everything. Besides,
excited.
I have some of the classic images in my head, but I don't really know anything else.
I had never seen it. I'd never read it. I
love that.
I'm
so
I can picture some of the visuals, but I knew very, very little. And the things that surprised, there's some things that I knew of were Riverdale does a sort of Carrie-ish episode. So I was I know what I know from the episode of Riverdale.
So funny.
And I've seen the classic dress covered in blood picture. But yeah, the thing that surprised me is Carrie's kind of a hero. Carrie's sort of I don't know. I'm very excited to get into it. Before we get into the plot of Carrie, a couple of little stats about it. It has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, 85% on Metacritic, 7.4 on IMDb. Quite high.
These are tough. Yes, these are tough ratings to get.
These are tough ratings to get. You rarely get out of the 6s on IMDb.
Oh gosh, good luck to you.
Good luck. So 7.4, pretty good. Budget was 1.8 million. Box office, 33.8 million. So congratulations.
Huge success.
Congratulations, huge success. It was the first movie adaptation of Stephen King's writing. So,
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also the first movie role for John Travolta.
I did not know John Travolta was in that. That shocked me when you said that earlier.
Yeah.
When he appears on screen, I was like, what?
And what a character.
And he's like,
he's no Danny Zuko.
He's no Danny Zuko. Young John Travolta was really something else. He steals the whole screen, you know?
He was something else,
He steals the whole screen. Both Sissy Spacek and Piper Laurie were nominated for Oscars for their performances in this movie. They didn't win, but they were nominated.
Well, but they were nominated.
They were nominated, and it's an honor just to be nominated.
They got the nod.
Okay, some little trivia. Man, it was hard choosing what trivia to bring up here because there is a lot of it on. Check it out on IMDb.com. There's a lot, and let me tell you what, a lot of it is wild. Okay, so some sort of more standard trivia. When Sissy Spacek was preparing for her character, she isolated herself from the rest of the ensemble, decorated her dressing room with heavy religious iconography, and studied Gustave Doré's illustrated Bible. She also studied the body language of people being stoned for their sins.
Holy shit.
Started or ended every scene in one of those positions.
Holy shit.
Wow. Oh my God, that's fascinating.
That's how you get that Oscar nom.
Sissy, you're really doing it.
She was doing it.
God, that's
the
amazing.
ending of the movie is different than the ending from the novel. I don't know what the other ending is, but I would love to find out. And in fact, Stephen King liked the ending in the movie better than the ending in his own book.
Oh, okay.
Do you know we should maybe wait till the end. We'll wait till the end to say.
I'm trying to remember what happens in the book. We'll see.
We'll see. They use the same music as Psycho. That like,
yeah.
I know. As it was happening, I was like, you can do that in two different movies. You can just do that? You can use it again? They can, and they did. Sissy Spacek wasn't considered for the role of Carrie until her husband, art director Jack Fisk, convinced Brian De Palma to allow her to audition. Until then, De Palma was wedded to the idea of Amy Irving playing Carrie. And when Spacek got the part instead, De Palma gave Irving the smaller role of Sue. Which... Well, I mean, look, I think Amy Irving is fine, but that would suck. That would really suck.
Yeah, that would be tough. That would be tough.
Okay, I'll do this. Especially because then she got nominated for an Oscar. You know,
I know, that's tough.
She does a great job as Sue.
Oh yeah, she's great.
She's great. Okay. So the way this trivia goes, I'm sorry. This was me being like filtering out. It just is so much super crazy trivia. It gets weirder as we go. Sissy Spacek asked Brian De Palma how he wanted her to react when Carrie first realizes that she's bleeding in the showers at the start. And De Palma told her, "It's like you've been hit by a Mack truck." So Spacek talked to her husband, Jack Fisk, in parentheses, art director. They really want to make sure we know that. Who as a child had been run over by a car when he was standing in the streets looking at Christmas lights a neighbor had put up.
Holy shit. Oh my God, that couldn't be a more innocent reason to be standing in the street.
Can you believe it? So she used his description of the experience as her basis for that scene.
What?
Can you imagine?
In shock.
Wow.
In shock.
And you know what? That performance, I can see that. It's really... I can't wait to tell you about it.
Oh my God. Okay, and now here we're going to enter into the area of trivia I've categorized as the 70s were bad.
They were bad.
They were bad.
They were bad for everybody.
But aesthetically, so good. Aesthetically, gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Are you
Loved
kidding
it.
me with
The
those
vibes.
high-waisted shorts? Are you
my
kidding
God.
me?
The clothes, the hair.
The clothes,
my
the
God.
hair,
Everybody looked
you
so
name it.
good.
Oh,
And everyone was
molto
having
bene.
a bad time.
Yes, it sucked. It was terrible. It was an awful time.
They felt so bad. Okay. Many of the girls present in the locker room were originally hesitant to appear nude in the film. Yes, there is a lot of gratuitous full frontal female nudity. But after Brian De Palma showed them the nude shots of Sissy Spacek, they became more confident.
Oh.
What's that? What is that? What
She's doing it.
There, she's doing it. She's getting an Oscar nom.
And look at this naked woman, the star of my movie. Do you want to look at pictures of her? And then you be naked too.
So weird. That scene is so strange.
So strange.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Oh my God. Yeah. I know. Sorry. We'll get, but we're close.
No rush.
No, they really did not need to be naked. And that was my first, I was watching, I was like, what? There's so many naked girls here. And then we didn't even need Sissy Spacek to be naked, like as much as she was naked, but it was the 70s and they wanted them to be. Not that doesn't still happen. It does. Okay. In a 2010 interview with the AV Club, PJ Soles, who's another actor in the movie, said that Steven Spielberg often came to the set at Brian De Palma's invitation because De Palma told him there were a lot of cute girls down here.
Stop it.
Jesus Christ.
Stop it.
Soles said that Spielberg asked out most of the women on the set, Soles included, and Amy Irving was the only one who accepted. They were later married from 1985 to 1989. And they had one son together.
Married. And Steven Spielberg, Brian De Palma, Francis Ford Coppola, all those guys like hung out together. Like they were like best friends. George Lucas. So that it's so crazy to think of these guys all just like these like titans of the film industry at that time. But that's horrifying.
I know, it's like
such a boys club, a literal boys club. Just these like very powerful, very successful young dudes being like, there's a lot of babes on my set. I'm making them be naked. You want to come?
Like,
I'm making them be naked.
I'm making them be naked.
I manipulated them into being naked.
I convinced them to be naked. They're cute. Come on down. Ask all of them out.
They asked not to be naked, but I said, you know what? You should be naked.
Okay. Guys, we're so close. During the filming of a scene where Mrs. Collins is yelling at the girls in gym, Brian De Palma was standing behind Amy Irving just off screen and whispering cruel and hurtful things into her ears in order to make Sue's look of misery and guilt on camera look genuine.
Jesus Christ.
I love it when they use techniques like that.
I love it. I love it. We all love it. We all feel like it is like, what cruel and hurtful.
What was he saying?
And lastly, Brian De Palma wanted Betty Buckley to really slap Nancy Allen. Because Allen couldn't get the reaction that De Palma wanted, Buckley ended up slapping her as many as 30 times.
Oh my God.
Side note, she later married Brian De Palma.
Yes, she did. That is 30 times.
People get slapped so much in this movie. It's a slap.
Joke. Yeah, it is a real slap.
It's a real slap. There is so many people get slapped in the face in this movie.
Oh my God.
So an interesting. So we're getting ready to get into it. But Mary, a lot of my questions were, how much of this is the world of Carrie, and how much of this is the 70s were insane? Like, it was some moments where like the way that the teachers interact with their students, and like the way like a lot of that, I was like, I think this was just okay in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the book well enough to be able to speak to how that's depicted in the book, but I definitely feel like the 70s, I mean, the teachers are awful, the students are awful. It's really creating an atmosphere for Carrie to where she's like the ultimate victim of just a terrible, terrible society. But
could teachers just grab their students in the 70s?
Yeah, I do think that was. I think that was.
They just were like grabbing them and throwing them around, and also like, can a teacher
making fun of them, like
a grown woman being in a locker room with a bunch of naked underage teen girl? Like, it's like, is that just? And I'm sure that was just the 70s. But I was
70s. Yeah,
there was a lot of stuff that I was like, this is shocking. In its it just is shocking, and I don't think it's trying to be in the same way that the other stuff that's trying to be shocking is shocking.
Right. It's so unsettling just as a base level.
Just a base level unsettling.
I know.
Oh.
Ooh, okay, but on that note, Mary, do you want to take us through?
Wait, should we watch? Do we watch the trailer? Should we watch the trailer?
Thank you, Henley. My goodness gracious. Okay, so we're gonna watch the trailer. I will say, Henley, this is a trailer that shows the entire movie.
Wait, should we not watch it? Should we watch it at the end? What do you think?
You know what? We should maybe watch it at the end.
Let's watch it at the end. Let's watch it at the end.
Show
that's great.
Everything.
Okay,
it's the entire movie. And so, but I definitely, we will watch it because I'm very excited for you to see these things, Henley, because
yes.
they're worth seeing. But yeah, but we'll wait until the end. So let's do the movie and we will watch the trailer at the end. But if you're listening via the podcast, which is how podcasts are consumed, you will hear the trailer right now. So if you don't want to even hear it, just skip ahead a little bit and then you'll be good.
It's the night of the senior prom. The Bates High School gym is alive with excitement. Everybody is there, even Carrie White, the girl no one likes.
We're all sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie!
And everyone makes fun of. The girl who lives in that creepy house with her crazy mother.
Help the sinning woman see the sin of her days and ways. Show her that if she had remained sinless, the curse of blood would never have come on her.
The girl with the strange power.
If I concentrate hard enough, I can move things.
But tonight, no one will laugh at Carrie.
You don't have a date to the prom next Friday. Would you like to go with me?
She's with the best-looking boy in the senior class.
He's trying to trick me again.
She'll be voted queen of the prom.
You know, I can make sure that you don't hurt Carrie White anymore.
For Carrie, it will be a dream come true. For everyone else, it will be a nightmare. Carrie. A new film by Brian De Palma. Based on the chilling bestseller. Starring Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, and introducing John Travolta in his first motion picture role. If you have a taste for terror, you have a date with Carrie.
Okay, great. Mary.
Yes.
Take us through it.
Fade in. We're here we are. It's a slow motion shot of a steamy locker room. Okay. And these are like slow motion and it's ultimate 70s, like girls with this long hair, like hair down to their, waist, just like, and everybody's naked. Nobody's not in a state of undress. Like,
no.
Wow.
And this is after gym class, I guess.
Volleyball.
Volleyball. They play volleyball.
They play volleyball at the very beginning.
They play volleyball, and it also gets set up that Carrie, it's all these like girls, and they're all sort of like good at sports, I guess, or having fun. And Carrie, we see Carrie, she's a little shy. She's sort of, she's got this body language that
like she's being stoned.
Like she's being stoned.
Jesus Christ.
She's sort of crumpled in on herself. She's super shy. And she misses a shot or she does something wrong in the volleyball game. And Chris, the like number one popular girl.
Sydney Sweeney vibes. She
Sydney
looks
Sweeney
so
vibes
much
for
like her in
sure.
this movie.
That is so true. Oh my gosh. Yes. Real Sydney Sweeney vibes. So Chris, like sort of, says something to Carrie
She says,
as she's,
you eat shit.
yeah, you eat shit. So she says, you eat shit. And Carrie's just like, whoa. And then Norma, who's this wild character, she has this hat on her head and she's like Chris's best friend. And Norma like hits Carrie in the head with her hat as they pass. So now we're in the locker room. Nudity.
Yes.
Teen girls, like just after volleyball, I guess they got so sweaty that they had to fully take like full on like
showers.
So they're sort of like hitting each other with towels and like it's like and this dreamy music's playing and it's like, oh, look at it's so weird. It's like these are teenage girls and we're like watching them.
Yeah.
And then we go over to Carrie and we see Carrie, she's like alone in the shower and she's having this lovely peaceful moment in the water. And we see her like scrubbing herself and like we see the water going down. She's got one leg lifted and we see the water going down the other leg.
Very sensual the way she's
Very
like
sensual.
soaping her.
Yeah.
It's like very slow. It's like, yeah, we're like body.
Yeah, body. And then suddenly mixed with the soapy water is blood.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. And so the blood really starts coming down her leg, and she brings her hand up to her face. And we learn in this moment that Carrie has no idea what a period is.
Oh.
She's never been told. So she thinks she is full on dying. Oh. She her eyes go so wide. She starts screaming. Help, 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 help. And she goes out to she runs out of the shower to the girls in the locker room. And she's like, help me, help me, help me. She's like completely losing her mind in this moment. She has no idea what's happening. The girls think she's gross and she's being ridiculous. And then they realize, oh, she's got her period. And so Chris starts like dangling a tampon in front of her. Ugh. And then they start throwing tampons
and towels.
Carrie, and towels and chanting, plug it up. Plug it up. Plug it up.
She's truly getting she's cowering in the corner, getting shit just thrown at her. And all of them are
getting stoned with tampons.
Laughing.
Yeah, it's awful.
The worst bullying you've ever seen.
It's a nightmare, including Sue Nell, who's played by Amy Irving, who is also among the popular girls, but is supposed to be the nicest of the popular girls. But she's doing it too. Everybody's this is funny. It's ridiculous. She doesn't know what a period is. Miss Collins comes in, the gym teacher.
Oh, no.
She comes in and she is pissed. She sees what's happening. She's furious. And so Carrie is she's wailing. She's totally out of her mind with fear and terror. And it's just awful. And so Miss Collins starts doing what you do when somebody is in trauma. You shake them really hard.
Right.
So, well, first you grab the other girls and you just push them all out of the way. Like a teacher does. Half of them are naked. You're just grabbing them.
So she's shaking Carrie, and Carrie's getting more and more upset. And then we hear the wait, and a light bulb explodes in one of the light fixtures above them. And so everybody screams, and it kind of in a way, it sort of dispels the tension of the moment, and Carrie calms down, and Miss Collins tries to comfort her. But yes, we get the sense that, something weird just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the principal's office.
I gotta say, I'm already in shock about how terrible everyone is in this movie.
It's awful.
It's so bad.
Awful. And
it's so bad.
Not at all subtle. It's everyone is just so mean to Carrie. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. And she couldn't be more she couldn't be asking for, no one ever asked for it, but she's just so not in anybody's way, but by any means. She's just so meek and mild-mannered and
vulnerable.
Doesn't cross anybody. Anyway, so we're in the principal's office. We're with Miss Collins, the gym teacher. We're with Carrie, and we're with the principal. And Miss Collins is talking to the principal, and she's like, this is what these girls did to her. And I think we need to let her go home right now because that was an awful thing she just went through. The principal keeps calling her Cassie, which is not her name.
Mm-mm.
And Miss Collins is like, Carrie, you can go home and you do not have to go to gym class for a week. Don't, go take care of yourself. And he calls her Cassie again. And Carrie's looking down at an ashtray that's on his desk. And when he calls her Cassie, she says, it's Carrie. And the ashtray flips up in the air.
Ooh.
And breaks or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everyone's just oh, I guess that just flew on its own. But well,
yeah.
No one is, obviously that was a crazy thing that just happened. But Miss Collins just bends over and picks up the pieces and puts them back on the desk. Nobody's whoa.
This girl can use her mind to move things.
Yeah, nobody really seems to be putting those pieces together.
Exactly. So we see Carrie going home. She's walking home on this suburban street, head tucked. She's got her books. There's this kid on a bike that's riding near her. He comes up behind her and he calls her creepy Carrie. And then he rides off, and she has her head down and she looks at him, and we hear the wee, and the bike crashes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh,
this girl.
Somebody's not in control of their feelings.
No. And underestimated, for sure.
Underestimated.
Yes.
So then we see Carrie's mom. So this is Margaret White. And so Carrie White is her name. And Margaret White we see, and she's sort of a very forbidding looking figure. She's got this black cape.
She looks like a witch, like a
she does
true
look like
Halloween witch. Like
a black cape.
Yeah, a capelet, I should say.
It's a capelet. It's sort of a capelet. It's very like covered head to toe, and like long skirt.
Yeah,
and like her hair is very like curly, but also fluffy. You know.
Yeah, it's that perfect 70s fluff. And her mom is, she's like at a door. She's like going door to door, we're led to believe. And the door opens and it's Sue Nell's mother. It's Mrs. Nell. And Mrs. Nell's having a cocktail.
Hell yeah.
And watching a show on TV. And she opens the door and she's like, oh boy, it's Miss White. Because she knows what that means. It means that Mrs. White she's coming to tell her the good word. She's coming to like preach about Jesus.
She has like a deep sort of Southern. You gotta let Jesus. It's like it's such a very interesting.
These are godless times, Mrs. Nell.
Oh, I'm scared.
She's really scary. So she's spreading God's gospel. She's a real religious zealot. We get that right away. So Mrs. Nell gives her money. She's like, here's $5. I don't need Jesus today or whatever. And, Miss White takes the money and she leaves and she goes back to her house. And we see Carrie is up in the attic. So like she got home earlier than her mom and she's like looking out of her little attic window. She sees her mom coming home. And woof. This house.
Oh, God, this house.
Head to toe, Jesus.
Ugh. All over the place. And it's like
all over the place.
Rickety, wooden, kind of creepy house in general.
Yeah. And a lot of religious images and a lot of
it's like
candles
dark
and stuff.
Inside and creepy.
Yeah. And so Carrie is up in the attic. That's where her room is. And then her mom gets a phone call. When she walks in the door, she's a phone call. We don't hear the other end of the conversation, but we put two and two together that was Miss Collins from the school calling her mom to let her know what happened. Let her know she got her period. This like terrible thing happened in the locker room, just to give her mom a heads up. And her mom does not handle it well. She calls Carrie down and she, because her getting a period is like, you're a woman now. This is original sin. You know,
after the blood come the boys.
Yes, after the blood come the boys.
She like slaps
Eve
her
was
with
weak.
She like pulls out of some like Bible verses and like slaps Carrie in the face with them and is like, read this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She has Carrie get on her knees and she opens the book and she's like, say Eve was weak. Say Eve was weak. And she like hits her in the face with the Bible.
Holy shit.
So this is like just the worst case for Carrie that she got her period. And she also is like saying to her mom, she's like, I didn't know. How come you didn't tell me, Mama?
Why didn't you tell me, Mama? You should have told me, Mama. Like she's like so embarrassed and feels so badly that like her mom could have told her and never did.
And so confused. Like what?
Like you knew this. Why didn't you tell me this was going to happen to me?
This is the worst possible interaction. Also, I just have to say, I hate scary moms. Scary moms are the scariest possible thing. Scary moms.
Because they're supposed to be the safe spot.
They're supposed to be the loving, like central, foundational part of your life. And when they're not, damn, it hurts. It really hurts.
Damn, it hurts.
Damn.
So Carrie's like, I'm not saying it. You know, she's sort of like, they get into a little tussle and the mom's like, you're going in your closet. And so she shoves her into this dark closet that's like in the kitchen. And Carrie is screaming. I mean, it's the most upsetting screaming. It's like, she is like, you know, she like gets shoved into this closet. It's totally dark in there. There's like a little altar with candles and the scariest, like crucifixion sculpture I've ever seen. This is like
so scary.
It looks like his eyes are like glowing or something and he's like looking up. It's just so scary. Yeah. And Carrie goes in there and she like beats on the door, tries to get out, and then eventually realizes there's no use in that. So she like starts praying, she quiets down. Hours later, Her mom's just humming to herself, sewing.
At like the oldest, creepiest sewing machine. Yeah. It's like black and intense.
And she's making what we assume is another capelet. And Carrie like quietly comes out of the closet. So maybe her mom unlocked it at a certain point or whatever. Carrie had fallen asleep. I don't know. But anyway, Carrie comes out. She comes up to her mom. She says, "I'm sorry, Mama." And she kisses her mom on the cheek very gently. And then she goes upstairs. And the mom's like kind of smiling like, there's my, docile.
Obedient little baby.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So then we see Carrie up in her room and she's like looking at herself in the mirror, and the mirror is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like it's like bending as she's looking at herself in it. And we hear the whee, 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 and it breaks. It like shatters. And her mom hears it from downstairs and it's like, "Carrie," suddenly concerned. And she goes up to the attic and she's like, "Carrie," and she can't open the door. And then she finally, Carrie responds, "It's open, Mama." And she opens the door and Carrie's just on her knees praying. The mirror is like put back together, but it's, if you look closely, you would see that it had been broken, but there's no pieces on the floor anymore. And Carrie's just like, "I'm just saying my prayers." And the mom's like, "Go to sleep."
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Literally. And so then we're at school and we're in a class and this is an English class or
must be
poetry class or something. Anyway, Carrie sits at the back, of course, and we see all the kids, and we get our first look at Tommy Ross, who is Sue Nell's boyfriend, and he is the golden boy of the school. Is
this John Travolta?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is unknown.
All right.
And
this is he has a name, and this actor's name is William Catt.
All right.
William Catt.
Sure.
Meow.
Yeah, he has the most stunning blonde curls you've ever seen. It's like a 70s babe through and through.
Truly. And Tommy, there's a teacher who's like pacing up and down. Oh, and the students are like, while the teacher is very clueless style, like, throwing spitballs at each other and all this stuff. And the teacher is like walking up and down the rows and he's reading this poem out loud to the class. And it's a pretty good poem. And we see Carrie she like takes notes. She writes one of the lines of the poem on her notebook. And then the teacher ends the poem and he's like, "Well, Tommy, you're not just known for, running $1 million touchdowns," or whatever the thing is, or being a track star. It looks like you're a poet as well. And Tommy's like, "Oh, shucks," he sort of like has a good sense of humor about it. And then the teacher's like, "Any criticisms?" And he opens it up to the floor. And what does Carrie say?
"It's beautiful."
And we hear just Carrie's little voice from the back of the room say that.
Oh.
And the teacher absolutely roasts her.
It's crazy. She straight up makes fun of her. It's like, "It's beautiful." Well, Miss White. Tommy. Well, that's not exactly a criticism, is it? Oh, this little bitch thinks the poem's good. Like, it's so crazy.
It's awful. So this teacher just totally goes to town on her, makes the whole class laugh at her. It's so funny. Tommy, meanwhile, seems like genuinely like, that's nice what she said. Like he's not really joining in on the fun very much. He's like, yeah. Everyone makes fun of her. Yeah. So, but we get the sense like, oh, he's like a good guy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a poet.
He's a poet. How bad could it be?
He's a poet.
He's a poet.
How bad could he be?
Uh-oh.
Now, gym class. Here we are. So we see all the girls from gym class. Carrie's not there, right? Because she's been excused from gym for a while. And we see, like, in the background, a janitor scrubbing. There's graffiti on the doors to the gym that say Carrie White eats shit. Which I don't know how that became the message. But anyway.
I don't know, but it's straight to the point, I guess. I don't know.
We can assume this is Chris's doing.
I'm just so curious about what high school's like currently? Because you know that bullying still has to happen, but it's not like this. Do you know what I mean?
I can't imagine it. Yeah, totally. It's got to be
sure
so much more.
It all happens on social media.
Yes, you're totally
right.
It's probably like you post stories about people, you like talk about people, or you like don't invite people to things on, or it's got to be all social
because
media based.
it's like it's not like in vogue. Sorry, I don't know why I use that phrase. That's the only thing I can think of. But that to be like outwardly bullying. Do you know what I mean? It's like not okay
that's
anymore.
Not cool. Right.
It's not cool anymore. But you know that it has to still be happening somehow. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But it's just making me think about how horrible it must be to be a high schooler. Terrible.
I think it
all the
is
time.
all online. I think you're totally right, Emily.
Yeah. So sad.
It's the worst. So Miss Collins, ooh, she's gonna get some revenge. She's looking at these girls who have absolutely no remorse about what they did to Carrie. And she's like, she dresses them down and she's like, you have no idea how awful what you did really was. And what's worse, you don't even care. You're not even like listening to me. And they're like kind of snickering and juggling.
Oh, juggling. It's really weird.
They're like, giggling and like,
they're all juggling.
But they're also juggling. They're really good at juggling. And you need to know.
I mean, it's impressive. Every single girl in gym class is an extremely good juggler.
And this is vital to the story. And so we get the sense, that Chris yes, she's the queen bee of the school, and oof, she is a mean lady. But Miss Collins is like, hey, guess what? I went to the principal. I told him what you did, and I wanted them to give you a week's suspension and refusal of your prom tickets. And the girls panic because that's like the worst thing you can do. Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario is up there with gophers, And so she's that's awful. You can't. And so the girl's like, you can't do that. It's not fair. And then Miss Collins is like, they said I couldn't do that. But they did say that you would have a week's detention with me. And and Chris is like, I'm not going to that. And Miss Collins is like, that's up to you. If you don't want to go, you don't have to. But if you miss even one detention, that will result in a week's suspension and refusal of your prom ticket. Ooh. And she's like, I'm going to get you where you live. Right. Oh. So she's like getting these girls. And it's wonderful. Payback. And so she makes them, and we also hear that Chris, the popular girl, is going to prom with Billy Nolan. And we haven't met Billy yet. I met Billy yet. We also learned that Sue, who is the only one who does seem to feel a little bit guilty now, she looks like she feels bad. She's going to prom with Tommy Golden Boy.
Oh.
Tommy Golden Boy. Yeah. So, and Miss Collins really shames her for that. Like, she's like, who are you going to prom with? And Sue's like, Tommy Ross. And she's like, must be nice or something like that. She really makes her feel bad for having a boyfriend. Okay. And then there's a fun workout montage. And this is where we really get some good 70s athletic looks.
So fun. So fun. High socks, teeny shorts, high-waisted, tucked-in T-shirts. It's great. Their detention is basically just like they have to work out really hard outside for an hour.
And it's a lot of shots of young girls doing squats. And
Steven Spielberg was on set that day.
Hanging out.
Yes, sort of, exactly.
He's like, let's do it again.
It's sort of a lineup just for him to pick who his next girlfriend's going to be.
Yeah. And so so then we cut to Carrie, and she's in the library. She's taking this time to work out her mind.
Good for her.
And she goes to the library, and we see her use the card catalog, which, can you believe that? The physical card catalog with the little drawers that pull out.
What a relic.
What a relic. And she's looking up miracles. Okay, so she's starting to get curious about what's going on with her. Mm-hmm. She can't explain it either, but she's getting curious. And so then we cut back to the workout montage. We see Chris.
She's basically like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm out. Like, because the Miss Collins is trying to make them run. They're all like running in place in a huddle. They're all so close together. It's very.
I know,
strange.
it's weird. And
like,
Miss Collins is in the foreground with her back to them for some reason. She's just like, run. I'll know if you're not. But Chris is like, I'm not freaking doing this. And Miss Collins is like, well, if you do, You better get back up there and do something. And I just wrote down, stick 'em up your ass, which is what Chris says to Miss Collins.
Yeah, so she says, if you don't run, like, then you don't go to prom. You're getting suspended and you're not going to go to prom.
She says something,
yeah,
and
says,
Chris
like,
says,
then you can, like,
your ass.
kiss your prom tickets goodbye. Or
oh, yeah,
maybe like, well, you could stick them up your ass.
And then, pow!
Slaps
Miss Collins slaps the shit out of
Oh, my
30
God.
times.
And now we know that happened 30 times.
Yikes.
It is, boy, it is like, I mean, you watch and you go, ooh, like it is a real slap. And also none of Chris's friends like go along with her. Like Chris is like, come on, Norma. And Norma like puts her head down and she's like, Sue. And Sue's like, give it a rest, Chris. Like nobody's really like on Chris's side here. And so after she slaps the shit out of her, Chris is like, you can't do this, which I actually agree with her. You can't. You
absolutely can't do that.
You can't hit a student. No.
Yes. And so she's like, this is not the end of this. And she like gets in Miss Collins' face and she storms off the athletic field. And Miss Collins is like, you're out of the prom. We're back in the library. Carrie's she's in the section about mind things. And she's looking up, powers of the mind. She opens a book. She sees something about telekinesis. And then we cut to Sue. She goes up to Tommy. He's like in his track football practice. Mm-hmm. And she comes up to him and she pulls him aside and she's like, hey, can I talk to you? And he's like, yeah. And she says, I want you to take Carrie White to prom. And Tommy's like, huh? And she's like, I just want you to do it. And he's like, what? Like, he's like, I want to go to prom with you. And she's like, no, I want you to take Carrie. And we get the sense that these two are really in love. Sue and Tommy have a very mature relationship.
She's just doing that out of the kindness of her heart. She's like, I just think you should be.
We get the sense that this is actually a kind thing. She's like, you know, it would mean a lot to Carrie. We all did a really mean thing to her. Like, you can tell that she means it. She's like, please do this for me. It would be very sweet to take Carrie to prom.
Okay.
This is her, like, owning, or moment. I don't know, what do you call it?
A pain.
You did a bad thing and you want to do a
repent.
good.
She's repenting.
This is her atonement.
Atonement. That was the word. Thank you, Mary.
This is her atonement.
Yeah.
Thank you. So then we see Chris and Billy Nolan, the one and only John Travolta,
Here
on
he
a
is.
date. And he's hot rodding it. He's like driving her around town. Chris is like putting on makeup and like Billy's like oogling her body and stuff. And people like drive up and give him a beer and he starts drinking.
Drive and toss a beer from their car window to his. He drinks it.
Billy's bad news.
Bad boy.
And he really sucks. And then he like swerves or something and Chris like messes up her lipstick and she calls him a stupid shit. And Billy doesn't like that. And so he slaps her. Chris is getting slapped a lot.
A lot.
Great.
They have a very strange, like toxic relationship.
I literally wrote, they have a very strange dynamic in my notes because she like keeps calling him a stupid shit and because she like wants to make him mad and then he keeps hitting her and being like I told you not to call me that, but then they like start hooking up, but then she like stops. She's like, what the fuck? Why aren't you hooking up? Like, it's just like bad. It's bad.
It's weird. It's really weird. So now we're back. And I believe, I didn't write this down, but I think it is in the library that we're back at school. It's another day. Carrie's in there doing her research. Tommy comes up to her and asks her what she's reading. And she's just like, it's not.
It's about sewing.
Like, it's about sewing. That's right. Which was quick thinking on her part. Because he's like, oh, cool. And then Tommy's like, oh, I was just wondering, do you want to go to prom with me?
Oh.
And Carrie's like, can't believe this is happening. And also just totally assumes this is a trick. Like she assumes this isn't real. He doesn't mean this. I don't know why he's doing this, but so she says no. She's like, no, I can't. I'm not going. No. She like scurries away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we see Miss Collins. I can't remember what leads into this. I don't know if
Carrie like runs away and then sitting alone outside by the gym. Miss Collins just finds her there and is like, what's going on, Carrie? And Carrie tells her, Tommy asked me to prom. And I said no. She's like, they're tricking me. I just know they're tricking me. And Miss Collins is like, no, that's like a night. You should go to prom. That's like a really sweet, nice thing.
And Miss Collins is like, you have no idea how pretty you are. Like, isn't that exciting that Tommy asked you out? Yeah. And she's like, you have no idea how pretty you are. Come with me. And she goes to the bathroom with Carrie. And she like stands in the mirror with her. And she's like, look at you. You're so beautiful. Like, look at this face. Look at this hair. Look at these lips. You just put a little lipstick on. And be so beautiful.
It's like very sweet, but it also is so funny. It's like, you're so pretty. You just, you put some mascara on and look at your beautiful hair. Curl it. And look at these beautiful lips. Maybe you could put some lipstick on your lips.
Yeah.
Like, you're so beautiful, but also try it. Can you try?
You're so beautiful.
With
a couple tweaks.
Yeah.
We could really see it. And so it's a sweet moment. It's like Miss Collins is on Carrie's side. She's like her biggest defender in this world. And then Miss Collins calls Tommy and Sue into her office, and she's like, what the fuck is this? She also thinks that they're trying to trick her, trying to trick Carrie, even though to Carrie, she's like, no, it's nice. But to them, she's like, what are you doing? What's the end game here?
Yeah. She's like, I know you two were dating. You're going to prom together. Like, Sue, why is he taking her to prom?
Yeah. And he's like, why is it anybody's business who I take to prom? Why can't I just take who I want to take? And she's like, because I know you don't want to take her. I actually don't know if she says that.
Something like that. That's the energy.
That's the
energy. Yeah. Eventually, Miss Collins is like, okay, if this is real, just treat her right or whatever. And Tommy's like, well, she's not going to go with me anyway because she said no. And Sue's like, well, didn't try hard enough. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so we see Tommy go to Carrie's house. Uh-oh. He knocks on the door. She opens the door. It's like just her and the screen. Her mom's like somewhere in the house behind her. And he tries to convince her to go. And we hear like her mom asking, who is it? So like there's like an urgency to this exchange. And Tommy's like, just say you'll go. Just say you'll go with me. And she's like, no, I can't. I can't. He's like, just say you'll go and then I'll leave. I promise. And then so he sort of manipulates her into going to prom with him.
Yep.
So she says yes. And she shuts the door and great. So Tommy and Carrie are going to go to prom together.
Great.
Now, this is a really crazy thing. So then we see Chris and her boyfriend Billy and their friends. So like none of the girls from school, but a couple guys that are Billy's friends, I think, who still date high school girls. And they're at a pig farm. We like see them walking by a mural of like happy pigs in a field, which is definitely not what happens back there. They sneak into this pig farm and you hear all these pigs, wrestling around and oinking. It's the worst. They get into the pen. And Tommy hands Tommy's not there. My God.
Tommy's not there.
Jesus. Billy hands his friend a sledgehammer and is like, go do it. And they've got like an empty gas can there too. So he's like, go do it. And his friend's like, I can't. And then Billy takes the sledgehammer and is like, fine, I'll do it. And he like vaults over the fence. And he gets back there and we see Chris go, do it, Billy. And then we see Billy like rear back and we don't like see the actual contact, but we see him like, and we hear the scream of a pig. And like, yeah, so he's
very
like,
clear what
bludgeoning
he's
a pig.
there to do.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being like, do it?
No.
I love this.
Chris is not well.
Chris is not well.
She's been slapped
and we
a bunch,
get the
to be
sense
honest.
that Chris is not well.
We can sort of imply that things aren't good with Chris. Sort of
not well.
Spiritually, mentally,
emotionally.
Yes. So he like murders his pig, and then we cut away from it. We don't know like what is going on. Then we see Carrie and her mom at dinner, and Carrie, very nervous, tells her mom, "Hey, I've been invited to prom." And her mom's like, no, absolutely not. You're not going. And Carrie's like, oh, Mama, I want to be a normal person. I want to like experience things. And I feel like if I don't do this, I'm never going to be normal. Like she's aware that she's like on the verge of becoming like her mother, essentially. And her mom is like, no. You know where she takes her? Right to the closet.
First, she throws her drink in her face. douses her in the face with her drink, which also blows out the candle that's sitting right in front of Carrie. Just throws.
What a metaphor.
Whew.
Yeah.
Putting that light right out.
Put that light right out.
So she tries to take her to the closet, and Carrie's like, everything isn't a sin. He's a nice boy. And then Mom again, after the blood comes the boys. And so as her mom's taking her to the closet, we hear the wee, and all the windows in the house shut.
Oh, nice.
And Carrie's mom is like,
she's like the devil.
Yes,
literally.
Exactly.
Of course.
And of course.
I think
so
she goes,
she's like,
witch.
Yeah. She calls her a witch. Like she's the Satan is working through her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but Carrie's kind of standing up to her. Carrie's like, I'm going and you can't stop me. And her mom is like now scared of her. She's like, okay, well now I'm living with Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's the next move?
Satan put himself in your father. And Carrie's like, no, Mama, he left you with a nut for another woman. Everybody knows that. And she's like, oh, the devil has got you.
Nice.
You guys, I am loving the accents. Mary,
your
Carrie is perfect.
I know. Emily, you're cast. You're cast as Carrie and Carrie's mother.
I can't wait to play both roles.
And me, I want to play Miss Collins.
Oh my God.
Okay, so then we cut to the high school, and it's like in the middle of the night at the high school gym, and we see Billy rigging a big bucket up in the rafters above the stage in the gym. And Chris is down there below, and she calls him a stupid shit a bunch because he's not moving fast enough. And we see him fill the bucket with the pig's blood from the gas container. So then we cut to school the next day. We see some of Billy's friends trying to get into prom somehow, right? Or get tickets.
One of the dudes goes up to, I think he's a teacher who running the prom committee, and he's like, hey, I want to be in the prom committee. And the teacher's like, we don't actually, I think he says are you a student here? He's like, yeah, totally. I want to be in the prom committee. And the guy's like, okay, I guess we could use help with decorations. And he's like, no, I want to count the ballots. I'm going to be the person who counts the ballots for prom king and queen. And the teacher's like, okay, I show up at 6:30. He goes, nope, I'm going to be there at 8. See you at 8. And it's like, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nothing suspicious there.
Yeah. So then we go back to the gym. It's during the day, and the prom committee's there decorating. Some of the girls from the gym class are there. We see Sue, she's there. We see Chris is there, and the girls are they're talking about how Tommy's taking Carrie and how insane that is. And Chris is she tells Norma, I'm going to sneak in. Don't worry, I'll be there. And Norma's like, how are you going to do that? And then we see a fun getting ready montage. We see Tommy trying on his tuxedo for the first time that day, I guess.
Yeah, he and his two friends. This is a very cute, funny little scene. They're trying to convince their one friend to get a tux. He's like, tuxes don't work for me. I don't look good in tuxes. And they keep trying on their tuxes. They're see how good I look, see how good you look. And the friend ends up buying a tuxedo t-shirt, and they're like, oh, great. It's they're just we're cute, sweet guys.
Yeah.
And Carrie,
they're good guys.
They're good guys.
Yeah.
And we see Carrie at a drugstore trying every different lipstick and trying a bunch of lipsticks and wiping it off and then trying. She's excited to get ready for prom.
She's excited. So yes. So she's at home and she's wearing the most glorious silk slip dress. I mean, it looks beautiful on her. And her mom, and she's putting on pink lipstick, and her mom's like, I can see your dirty pillows. Emily, please.
I can see your dirty pillows.
Her boobs.
They're breasts, Mama, and every woman has them.
Yes. So Carrie's starting to really come into her own here. She's starting to feel her power. Then her mom's he's not coming.
Pillows. It's so crazy.
And she's her mom almost seems as nervous as Carrie is, and she's convinced that Tommy's going to ditch her. He's not coming. And she keeps saying that. She's like, he's not coming. They're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you. And Carrie's like, Mama, stop. I want to have fun. I'm going to go and hang out with these people. And she does her TK.
Telekinesis.
Telekinesis.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I was like, she does her
TK.
tuck jumps. She does her telekinesis, and she like, as her mom's like trying to keep her from going out the door, she like forces her mom to lie down, and her mom's like, nice. And so she lies down. And then so then we're at the prom. Well,
Carrie walks out the door to go to prom because Tommy's there. She forces her mom to lie in the bed, and then she goes and leaves, and her mom just stands up and goes, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live."
So important. Thank you, Emily. Yes, so important. That line, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." So what's going to happen? Now,
nothing good.
Then we go to prom, and it's glorious. It's the prom.
So fun.
Nobody's prom was like, it's beautiful. It's in the gym. It's decorated so well. They're having the time of their lives. I mean,
it's great.
It's
great. There's a live band, which I was really excited by. Mm-hmm. There's a live band. People are dancing. Oh, yes. The decorations are great. The outfits are amazing. Norma is in a prom dress and still wears her hat, which is very funny to me. Carrie just wants to sit at the table. She doesn't want to dance. Tommy keeps inviting her to dance, and she doesn't want to dance. Miss Collins drops by to check in on them. Tommy goes to like see another friend or get a drink or something. And Miss Collins sits with Carrie, and she like, they have a heart to heart where Miss Collins is like, "Oh, you know, my prom was crazy too. I went with a boy and his car broke down and we had to walk 3 miles to the prom, but it was the most wonderful night. And I'm just so excited that you're going to have a magical night." And Carrie's so happy. She's like really like, for the first time, she like feels like she's a part of things, you know? And Miss Collins leaves, and Tommy comes back, and they're just chatting, and they like have a nice rapport. And he mentions to her like, "Oh, maybe we can go to the after party at the Beehive." Who knows what that is? But he invites her to it. And she was like, "Oh no, you go hang out with your friends." And he was like, "Well, no, I want you to come with me." Oh. And Carrie's like, "Huh?" And then he finally does convince her to go up and dance. And they have it's a really long scene with the camera just going around them as they dance.
Yeah, it's really this is a trivia. So they're dancing, and we're just like spinning. It's really dizzying. Like it like actually like is hard to watch how quickly they're spinning and the camera is spinning around them. And they achieved this by putting the two of them on a platform that was spinning in one direction, and they had the camera on a dolly spinning the opposite direction.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's literally they're like spinning twice as fast as they otherwise could be because they're going around each other.
Wow.
That's cool.
That's fascinating. So Tommy is really getting her to open up, and Carrie's like, she's like never danced before. She's never like gone to the Beehive, certainly. Mm-mm. But she also says, and I've never even, she doesn't finish her sentence, but we can assume, been kissed.
Oh.
And sweet Tommy leans in and gives her her first kiss.
Oh my God.
And the music is wonderful, and it's so sweet and wonderful. And Carrie's like just, she feels safe. It's clear. And they sit back down, and they've got the ballots now for prom king and queen in front of them. And there's like 5 options. And the 5th option, Tommy and Carrie. Oh, and Carrie's like, "What the fuck? How do I get on here?" And Tommy's like, "Well, let's vote for ourselves. Come on. It's so fun. We'll just go up there and everyone will clap for us, and we'll get like a free hat." And by that, I mean a tiara. Crown. And he's like very like casual about it, and that I think convinces Carrie to like, "Okay, yeah, let's vote for us." So she does. Then we see Norma going around and collecting the ballots. Uh-oh. So Norma and then Billy's friend, Freddie or something. Yeah. So they're collecting the ballots. Ballots, please. Ballots, please. And they then we go back to Carrie's mom's house, and this is a very strange scene. It's a camera above. We see her mom in the kitchen thinking for a second, and then she grabs a bunch of carrots and just starts chopping them, and then stops hitting the carrots and is just chopping with a knife against a butcher block.
No thanks.
But then we go back to the gym, and we see Chris and Billy are there, and they're peeking through the curtain. They're like looking out at the prom. And all the ballots are in at this point. And I think we see that Sue has arrived as well, right? Sue is there.
Sue wants to like see how it's going. Her sweet plan to let Carrie go to the prom. Oh, because earlier they say you're not allowed to go to the prom unless you have a date, which is so fucked up.
Oh, right. That's
so
right. I forgot about
when
that.
Sue tells Tommy to ask Carrie to prom, it means she can't go to prom because she doesn't have a date, which is horrible.
What? So
she sneaks in just to see like how prom is going.
And she's just in like her regular clothes. She's in like cute jeans and a top.
Yeah.
And, okay, so great. So it's like sort of like, okay, now's the moment where we announce prom king and queen.
We also saw Norma replaced ballots with a bunch that they had brought. So.
Yes. So in this case, there was election fraud.
There was election fraud.
There really was. This is how it works. This is usually how it works.
This is what Donald Trump was talking about.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
He was talking about the movie Carrie.
So then they announced prom king and queen. Oh my God, it's Tommy and Carrie. It's this beautiful, the music swells at slow motion. Carrie's like, oh my God, everybody's like clapping for her. She's like
tearing up. She looks
Miss Collins is so excited for her. Oh my God, she's over the moon. They like ascend the steps up to the stage. Chris and Billy are like there watching them go up the steps. Like they're underneath the stairs. And they get up there and she like gets her tiara placed and she's holding her flowers and Tommy's there and he's like, isn't this so, look at it, is she beautiful? It's like this and it goes on for a really long time. Oh, no. It's like a couple minutes of like the dream of all of this. And her looking out at these people who have rejected her for years and years and they're all like accepting her. And not only that, like, holding her up on this pedestal. It's this a beautiful moment. And then we see Sue and she's like watching this and she's like, this is nice. And then she sees a rope that's like going up the side of the curtains. And she like is following this rope with her eyes. It's just all in slow motion, all of this. And she looks up and she's like, sees it go into the rafters. So she moves out from beside the stage or like off stage to like get a better look. She's following this rope as it goes up into the ceiling. And we see Miss Collins clock her. And Miss Collins is like, that bitch. She thinks she's there to like ruin this moment for Carrie. So she like goes over to Sue and like grabs her. And Sue at this point has seen the bucket that's up above them.
Seen the bucket and she has seen Chris.
Yes.
With the holding the rope. So she's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. She puts two and two together. Yeah. And so she's like, oh my God. She's like pointing at the bucket and she's like, no. Like she like tries to communicate what's happening. And Miss Collins is like, you bitch. She's like, how dare
Once
you?
Again,
You're
just
trying
really
to like
grabbing her and like throwing her out of the room.
She throws her out of the gym, slams the door behind and is like, God, thank goodness I was here. I saved Carrie.
Nope.
And then at a certain point, Chris pulls the rope. The bucket falls. And Carrie, smiling, is just covered in pig's blood.
Oh, my God.
It's
So
awful.
It's worse than I thought it was going to be.
It's so much worse.
She just is frozen there. And you hear, it's such a powerful moment because everybody's quiet. And you just hear the bucket swing back and forth. That's the only sound.
Holy shit.
And the sound of the blood dripping from her face.
Holy shit.
And she's like in total, she like cannot process what's happening.
No, of course not.
And then all of a sudden, everybody starts laughing.
Well, it's so interesting the way. So it's the sound cuts out except for the bucket and the blood. But we are aware that Carrie, like, because you see Tommy looks up and sees the bucket and starts mouthing like, what the? But we don't hear it. Like is this like for Carrie, all other sound is cut off. Because Tommy's going like, who did? Like, he's really mad. It's like, what the fuck is this? And it's like looking around. The bucket then falls, hits him in the head and knocks him out. It's like a big metal bucket. So he's knocked out. Norma starts laughing. But mostly everybody else is just shocked.
Yeah.
But then Carrie starts hearing, like, in her own head, she starts hearing all the mean things that people have said to her over the course of the movie. She starts hearing the chanting of, plug it up, plug it up.
Carrie White eats shit.
Carrie White eats shit. She hears her mom going, they're all going to laugh at you.
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 And then she starts seeing everybody laughing, but it seems like that's not what's actually happening because she sees...
It's in her mind.
It's in her mind. She sees Miss Collins laughing. Miss Collins definitely isn't laughing. Yeah. Because she also hears Miss Collins saying, like, you can trust me, Carrie. You should go to the prom. And so she's like...
The ultimate betrayal,
She overhears the principals calling her Cassie. She's like, they've all been in on it.
Yes, this is a long con.
Everyone is laughing at me.
Yes, they all planned this.
Everyone conspired to get me here in this moment and make this happen to me.
And she is not happy.
No, she's mad.
And she's standing there, and it's the iconic image of her, like, just head to toe in blood, her eyes really big. And she looks over to the doors, and they shut. She looks over to another pair of doors, they shut. Like, so she, like, sort of is, like, closing off the gym. Closing all the doors and the windows. And then she, like,
looks up at the lights, shuts the lights off.
Holy
shit.
So then there's only a red glow.
Like exit sign glow. And
everybody starts freaking out.
I think, honestly, the degree to which people start freaking out from just the lights going on. I mean, it'd be scary. But all of a sudden, everyone in the gym is like, they're like running over each other. Like they start going crazy.
It becomes a really dangerous situation because they cannot open the doors. And everybody starts panicking. And then there's a crush of people to get out of so yes, people are getting trampled. There's like, lights, like there's sparks from the lights that are, and like a live wire gets broken at some point and a hose goes off.
Yeah, with her mind, she takes the fire hose out of the thing and starts using it like a trained animal to spray. She like looks
people.
at it and it like sprays at one person. She looks at it and it sprays another person. And she's like controlling the fire hose like a little like attack dog. Like
holy shit.
Like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, at the end, the pit bull where he like snips it up. It's like it's the fire hose. She's like, go get him.
That's right. That's right. And then there's also like a live wire. So like this is like a real like choose your own adventure of a terrible way to die. You could get electrocuted in a puddle of water. You could get set on fire. You could get like sprayed with an insane amount of water. You can get crushed by people. And soon the curtains catch fire.
Yeah, well, so we see at one point the principal goes over to the microphone to try to be like, okay, everybody calm down. Carrie looks to him and I guess the live wire falls near that and he gets electrocuted. So he's like holding the microphone and he gets fried and dies.
Holy shit.
Mrs. Collins is standing against a wall and she goes, Carrie! And then a big thing of wood like falls from the ceiling. Like Carrie makes it happen, falls from the ceiling, chops her down the middle. We don't see that, but like that is what it like pins her against the wall and she slumps over. So Mrs. Collins is dead.
Everyone's
and then
died.
we see, the curtain catches fire.
Curtain catches fire. There's smoke. So now these people are just being roasted alive. And Carrie heads on out.
She walks out.
She walks out. And very slow. She like never changes her pace. And she keeps her arms like this.
Oh, it's so fascinating.
Oh my God. Just hands out.
And I'm just going to do the rest of the podcast like this. And so
hands out.
She keeps
hands
her
out
arms
to
like
the
that.
sides.
And she just walks out of the gym covered in blood. And as she's walking down the street, meanwhile, you hear the screams of the people who, like, she's just murdered the entire
shit.
You know,
do you think she's killed everyone in the gymnasium or just a few people?
Oh, everyone.
Oh,
everybody who was there.
Everyone's dead.
It's a total massacre.
And she kills everyone.
She kills everyone. But guess who got out? Chris and Billy.
No, get out.
They managed to get out. And so she's walking down the road.
Oh, and Sue was
got
out.
And Sue, yes.
Sue was out. She's covered head to toe in blood. This is a teenage girl covered head to toe in blood. And a fire truck going to deal with the fire. But like a big fire truck drives right past this girl covered in blood walking down the center of the road. And I'm like, I guess we don't care. I guess we don't care about that.
He's like, we got bigger fish to fry, baby. We'll be back for you. And then we see Chris and Billy, and they're in the car, and Chris sees Carrie, and she's like, kill her! She's like, tells Billy, run this girl over. Run her over.
Whoa,
so
Chris.
Billy starts like speeding for her. And they're behind her, I think, right? Because then she turns. Yeah. So, and Carrie hears it. She turns and looks, and the car just like flips over.
Oh, hell yeah.
And explodes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
They're dead too.
They're dead.
Carrie's taking care of everybody except for Sue. Carrie goes back to her home, and her house is covered in lit candles. Like every surface has a candle that's lit on it. It's really kind of eerie. And she's like, what's going on? And she calls for her mom, doesn't find her mom. She goes up stairs. She like rinses off. She like gets all the blood off of her. She gets into her like very sort of chaste nightgown that she always wears. She's got her hair. She's like back to Carrie.
It's nasty. This bathtub, she just like gets in a tub, which means she's like sitting in pig bloody water. It's
ew.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Oh, but we've seen when she goes upstairs to her room and goes into the bathroom to take a bath, we see behind the door her mom is hiding, just standing perfectly still behind the door. And I was like, oh, she's going to kill her in the bathtub. But no, she doesn't. She just stays behind the door and waits for her to get out of the bath. So she comes out of the bath and walks into her room. And so her mom like reveals herself from behind the door. And Carrie hugs her and is like, Mama, you were right.
You were right.
And the mom, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Then she has this monologue, right? Where she talks about, this monologue is very upsetting.
Oh, no.
Her mom is like, she talks about like the man she was married to, or it was before they were married or something. And she was like, we were together and we never laid together. We slept together. I mean, like we laid next to each other, but we never did anything, because we weren't married. But then one night I saw him looking down at me, and he had that look in his eyes, and he had the whiskey on his breath, and he took me. And I liked it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And she's like, I liked it. God help me. I liked it. And then she's like, and I felt him, I should have done something when I felt him finish in me or something like that.
He put the devil in me. I should have killed myself after he put it in me. And then she says, I should have sent you to God when you were born. I knew he put the devil in me.
Oh, yes. My God.
And so Carrie's like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah, this is a bad night.
I started having my own night. I started having my own thing.
Yeah. It's just like, you just like didn't ask me anything about prom when I came.
You're really making it about you right now?
Yeah. And so Carrie's just like, well, this is a nightmare. And then her mom tries to.
She says,
do it.
Yeah, she says, let's pray. And Carrie's like, yeah, let's pray, Mama. And they go down on her knees. She goes, let's pray one last time. Pulls up a knife, stabs Carrie in the back.
Holy shit.
That makes Carrie tumble down the stairs into the kitchen.
Carrie's mom comes for her again.
Smiling. She's holding her knife and she's like,
awful. And then Carrie basically uses her TK trademark.
TK.
And like pins her mom against the closet door, actually. The door to the closet that she normally gets thrown into. And she like starts shooting knives from around the kitchen into her mom. And her mom, go ahead.
No, yeah, her mom goes to like stab her, and Carrie TK's a knife into that hand. So she like puts her, like basically like crucified style, like one knife in one hand, a knife in the other hand, and then like tunk, knives all through her chest.
And her mom like slumps over, and it's like classic, like this is the Jesus pose.
Her mom, see her mom in the pose. Like as she's dying, seems to be happy. She's like laughing, and then it sort of seems like she climaxes as she dies.
Okay.
She's sort of like, ha ha.
So
like it's weird. And then she dies and it's like eyes open like that creepy Jesus.
a sweet release of some kind.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also the candles catch fire, and that so the house
candles. And it's an old little wooden house.
Yeah, and so this house is like starting to not do well. It's like there's like the sound of something falling from up above, like a rafter or something, and that kind of snaps Carrie out of it, right? Mm-hmm. And she like runs to, she like sees what happened to her mom. She sees that her mom's dead, and she's like, "Mama, no!" And she like pulls all the knives out of her mom, and she like tries to pull her mom out of the house.
Oh,
and
she tries to pull her mom. Yeah, one of her hands is still attached, and Carrie's just like pulling on her out.
Oh, it's
awful. Very upset.
It's awful. And then she's pulling, and then the house, and then she doesn't get out.
Yeah, she drags her mom into the closet with her. She like grabs her, drags her, they go into the closet, and she just like holds her while the house starts crumbling and burning simultaneously. It looks like it's sinking into hell.
It really does.
Like it starts like going into the ground, and it's like collapsing kind of and burning at the same time.
Yeah. Tough.
Oh my
And then we see Carrie dies. Like Carrie is also dead, and then
she's done.
Oh, she's done.
Dunzo, bunzo.
And we do one more little last shot on that creepy Jesus and his little like glowy eyes, and then the house just like totally burns up, and it's clear that there would be no survivors.
Oh my god,
it's a bad night. Then now we see Sue, or we see her mom. Her mom is on the phone. We see Mrs. Nell, and she says something that I think is so ridiculous. Someone calls, and Mrs. Nell is like, oh, thank God. No, I'm just relieved not to talk to another reporter. She's okay. She's doing better. I mean, she sleeps a lot, which I guess is understandable, but the doctor's saying that, thankfully she's young enough that she'll eventually forget this whole thing. And I was saying to Matt, I was like, it's not like she's 3. She's like 17 years old.
Forget this whole thing. Forget everyone she knows dying in a massive, horrible way.
Absolutely
I don't think you get past that.
No, especially when you're that age, when you're so impressionable and everything's like sinking in even harder.
Remember how you told your boyfriend to ask this girl to prom that resulted in the death of him and everyone you know? I don't think you're gonna forget that.
And her mom's like, she's just sleeping a lot. And meanwhile, this town is like devastated by the murder of like the children. Like
the mom says like, oh no, I didn't let her go to the funerals, but with Tommy and everyone else gone. It's like,
no. It's such a weird phone call. Who is calling her and like, so give me the latest.
How's Sue?
Tell me the deets.
And then we see Sue, and she's in bed, and she's like, she's asleep. She's just, in a trauma sleep. Mm-hmm. And we're in this kind of bright, dreamy, it's like a suburban street. It's like this lovely music playing. It's the same music, dreamy music that plays throughout, at the beginning, at the prom, at the end. And Sue's wearing this gorgeous sundress, and she's holding flowers. She's walking down this street, and she like enters this little yard, and she goes in. Again, this takes so long too. And she's in a cemetery. Mm. And she goes up to the tombstone that says Carrie White.
She goes to the burned plot of land where the Carrie White's house was.
That's yes.
But there is like a cross there that's like the for sale vacant lot, like for sale. Sign.
Thank you, God. I always assume it's
but she's carrying she's bringing it as if she's going to like that is sort of the laying flowers at the grave, because that is all a dream where she died.
We don't know.
We don't know. She's just like visiting this spot.
Yes, we've seen Sue asleep, and then we see this scene.
Okay, I see.
I wasn't certain this was a dream at this point. I thought it might have been like the next day, because we've cut to the next day before.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But but the like for sale wooden for sale sign, someone has graffitied on it Carrie White burns in hell on the sign down here, and I was like, but everyone who hates her died. Who wrote that?
Yeah. I mean, maybe a parent, somebody who was really had a bone to pick with Carrie.
Which, there's reasons.
There's reasons. So so it's not a tombstone. Yes, it's like And so but Sue is like, I'm going to lay these flowers down here on this gravesite, I guess. And she lays the flowers down, and suddenly a hand shoots up from the ground and grabs her wrist. And Sue starts screaming, and she's screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming. And then we see her in her bed. She starts screaming and screaming and screaming. And her mom comes in and is like, Sue, Sue, Sue.
You haven't forgotten this yet?
She's like, oh God, it was just 2 days ago. And Sue's like hysterically crying and like so upset. And then that's
it. That's the end of the movie? That's roll credits?
Yeah.
Roll credits.
That, to me, was the biggest jump. Like, the movie is not really that scary in terms of, like, but
jump
that
scares,
moment, it was a true jump scare for me when the hand comes out. And it's, like, covered in blood, like she was when she got the blood doused on her, which I realized is interesting because at the beginning, when she gets her period and has her hand is covered in blood, the person she grabs with her bloody hand is Sue.
Yes.
So then at the end, Sue has
beautiful
that
moment of mirroring
image of being grabbed by Carrie's bloody hand, and
holy
that's the
shit!
end of the movie.
Wait, I want there to be what's Sue's rest of her story.
They
I need
did
to know.
make a Carrie too, I think, and I saw a trivia that like that actor is the only one who appears for Carrie 2 from the original cast.
Amy
it's like,
Irving,
they all died.
Right.
They're all dead.
Yeah.
Except for her.
Because they died.
They died.
She comes back, and I did see that the Rage, Carrie the Rage or something when it came out. I feel like it was in the mid-90s or something, or late 90s. And she was, Sue was now a teacher at this school, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Choice.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But there you have it. There's Carrie.
There you have it.
Oh my God, Mary. Hell yeah. That was amazing. I was fucking riveted.
I mean, Emily, thank you so much for helping me with those details.
Thanks for getting me to watch this movie.
I'm thrilled you liked it.
It's so wild because the bullying is really horrifying. Like something really bad is going to happen. And there are the moments of telekinesis, but it's so interesting that for like an hour and 10 minutes, it's just sort of a drama about this girl getting bullied in high school. And then it all happens so like,
fast.
Oh, okay, you're dead. Chaos. Mom tries to kill her. It's just like I was like, when is this going to become a horror movie? Oh, right here.
Yeah.
The very end.
And it's also it really does beg the question of if her mom wasn't who she was, would this power have manifested in the way that it did? Maybe not.
Probably not.
And like the small moment of if she hadn't been pranked, then prank. It's funny to call it a prank when it is so massive and horrifying. But if that hadn't happened, none of that. It's just like that one choice became enough in her mind.
Right. It's also interesting to me that Chris really honed in on Harry. Honed in on Carrie as the reason her life is awful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When Carrie didn't ask her and make her not go to prom or make her do it. She didn't do any of this, and Chris just was out for blood with Carrie for some reason.
Yeah, that's another backstory that would be interesting to know. What makes Chris so bloodthirsty?
Something's bad in Chris's home life for sure.
I feel like in the book there was some diving into it. I need to reread it because it's been a long time.
Oh yeah, because now I'm curious what the different ending is for the book.
Yeah,
as opposed
I can't
to
remember
the movie
at all.
But yeah, no, Chris hates Carrie so much that when she comes up with this scheme with Billy, her boyfriend, in the moment, earlier when we first meet him, when they're having a terrible interaction and a very unhealthy relationship, she gives him head, and while she's giving him head, she says,
I forgot.
I hate Carrie White. Which is also
while she's giving him head.
It's also how are you speaking? You're giving him head. I just was like, this doesn't make any sense.
She's powerful.
No, yeah, they're getting a lot of pleasure from hating someone so deeply.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate it. Whoa.
It's intense.
This is fucked up. Okay. Yeah. My question is, Stephen King hated The Shining, right? And he loved this. Yeah. I wonder why. It's fascinating to me that he feels that way so differently about two different movies. I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder if he saw Jack Torrance's journey in The Shining differently than how Stanley Kubrick saw it.
Yeah, and I think he felt like I don't know if he said this or if this is other people's or if I've heard this that like that character is maybe loosely based on him or like parts of it. And so I remember a lot of his critique was the like treatment of that character and the portrayal of that character. Like he thought
that he was like just a total psychopath.
Yeah, like and too like, bad and crazy from the start.
Yeah.
Right, because Jack Nicholson's too like wild and crazy from the beginning, from the very beginning.
Yeah, he's got a little glint in his eye the whole way through that movie.
Oh yeah.
But I do think that all the sexist parts aside, I do think that Brian De Palma captured what I think Stephen was hoping for with the kind of course, like how Carrie was such a victim in her life, but then also the kind of the dreaminess of the teen experience that Carrie wanted. I thought he did especially in that prom sequence, it was like, oh my God, we're like in her fantasy. And it's such and then it falls out. Like, it's like, I'm sure exactly how Steve envisioned it. Don't tell him I called him that.
Oh my God. First name basis.
Oh my God, don't tell him I called him that.
I'm going to tell him.
Don't tell him. Emily, don't text him.
She's texting him literally right now.
I'm texting him right. Stephen. Okay. In the book, Carrie doesn't die in the house. And she like walks out and is found by Sue. She and Sue have a telepathic conversation.
Oh, God. I don't remember any of
where Carrie realizes that Sue was not in on the prank. So Carrie forgives Sue and then dies. So that's the ending of the book.
Yeah, I agree. I think the movie ending is more like powerful.
Also, yeah, and more horrifying for Sue to just be left with that.
Oh my God.
Trauma.
That is the ultimate punishment. Yeah.
Oh my God. You'd never forget it. You absolutely never forget it.
Never forget it.
And you wouldn't go back and teach at that high school.
Whoa, no. Yeah, first thing I do is
you're moving out. You're moving out of that town.
Get me out of here. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Carrie's kind of a hero. I mean, she shouldn't have murdered all those people, but
I mean, had she learned to control her power, we'd be looking at the next Marvel superhero.
Alternate universe, Carrie.
You know what I mean?
Is a hero.
Carrie's in the Avengers.
Yeah.
But wasn't meant to be here.
Wasn't meant to be. I am so happy. Have you seen the remake? Has anyone seen the remake?
Not because it came out kind of recently, right?
I feel like it did in like the 2013 is maybe what I saw when I was looking it up. Was Chloe Grace Moretz or do I just think it was her? It was her.
Mm-hmm. No.
I would imagine that's probably one of those ones that should have just been not redone, if I had to guess.
It's tough. It's tough to do it because Carrie's just such a classic. It's just a classic movie, and it's very hard to redo that.
And that Sissy Spacek is so very good.
And she was also unknown at the time. Like, she was like the perfect Carrie. Like, she was just not a movie star. She was just that girl. And that is really intense.
Yeah. So Julianne Moore is in the remake. Julianne Moore plays the mother in the remake.
Oh, wow.
But no, it looks like it is not super well received. Ansel Elgort is Tommy in the remake. Whoa, I might have to watch this remake just because, like, what a strange thing this is. Well, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll keep you guys posted. Wow. Mary, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was a joy to tell this story with you, Emily, and to you, Henley. What a treat. I just had a great time. Thank you for having me.
You should be cast as Carrie in the next one. Your Southern accent.
I know. Mary's accent is great. It's
fucking blew me out of the water. What is that? Is that a phrase? I don't know.
It's a phrase.
But it's really good.
Blew you out of the water?
Yeah. Blew you straight out of that water.
Mare, where can people find you? What should they be watching? What should they be looking for you in. There's just so many things. She's a star.
Well, I have to say I'm not super active on the soch, but you can follow me. But it does give me anxiety. Okay. So I'm not posting a ton, but you can follow me because I do try to post when there's things upcoming, at Mary Holland Days on Twitter and Instagram. And then as far as what's going on, there's a movie I'm in called Senior Year that's coming to Netflix May 13th.
Woo! Cool.
So get your accounts in order.
Sign up for Netflix.
Everybody sign up for Netflix. Agree for them to charge you more because they just did that recently.
They did that,
and I am very sorry.
Everyone's so mad about it.
And I get that. But that's out. And then there's another show that's on Netflix called The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window, which is a fun sort of horror adjacent genre type show. So you can have fun with that. And that's what I've got going on.
That. Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I really have been wanting to watch that on Netflix, The Woman in the House.
It's fun. It's a fun watch and it's fast.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say my parents started it and my mom was like, I thought it was going to be a fun, like a play on, it's scary. The first episode, she was like, when is it going to get funny? Like she felt like she was misled, but she was told to keep going and that it does mess with the genre as it continues.
It does, but it is in a very subtle way, in a very nuanced way. So it's definitely not like over the top, comedy. It's very sort of layered in there, with the suspense. So it's fun. That. It's like a nice little treat.
Fun. Check those things out, Mary. Just love you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
We usually close the episodes with a voice, and I feel like we must do Margaret White's. Oh. Hold on, what did she say? I could see your dirty pillows. Okay. From all of us here at Too Scary Didn't Watch. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, goodbye. Thank you, my friends, for listening to another episode of Too Scary Didn't Watch. If you had fun hanging with us, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at TSDW Podcast. And if you're interested in things like bonus episodes, video trailer reactions, and other cool content, head on over to patreon.com/TSDW Podcast. All right, we love you all forever and ever, starting a while ago and continuing into eternity. Adios.